Yo, first quarter of the show. You guys know what time it is. Here's where we chop it up. Our chopping it up segment for this show, we're going to emphasize mental health, valuing mental health as athletes. We've talked about this in past episodes. If you miss it, please go check the feed. We had some real important pieces, conversational pieces that we hit on as players, current players, and former athletes. But big news coming from the Olympics, Tokyo. Simone Biles, some believes the best, greatest gymnast to ever do a flip. She took herself out of the events. When you look at what she's been going through, clearly something that she's been battling that we had no idea was a part of who she is as an athlete. It took advantage of her, basically. You know, it won the battle, and she understood how important it has been. And because of that, she decided to remove herself from the Olympics. When you look at athletes' perspective and how crucial mental health is, it should be treated the same way we treat physical health. And me and Pat P have talked about this before. This conversation was sparked, like I said, by Simone Biles. This is a statement coming from Simone. I choose not to continue team competition and jeopardizing losing a medal of any color for the girls, U.S., also for my own safety and health. Biles said she had twisties, something I never heard of before. Twisties, which is where you lose track of where you are while you're in the air. It's honestly petrifying trying to do a skill, but not having your mind and body in sync. She also stated, I say put mental health first, because if you don't, then you're going to enjoy your sport and you're not going to succeed as much. You're not going to enjoy your sport and you're not going to succeed as much as you want to. Like I said, she's considered the greatest gymnast of all time. Pat P, hearing the news, I know I was shocked. It was surprising to me, but what were your first initial thoughts?
I definitely was taken back, you know what I mean? But like she said, mental health is a real thing, you know what I mean? Especially like you said, we have no idea what's going on, you know, at home, in her personal life. You know, that stuff can weigh on you. You know what I mean? Especially having the weight of the world on your shoulders. You know, and we all know playing sports is almost 80% mental. So if you're not clear-minded and not focusing on what you need to focus on to go out there and be your best, that can play a toll on you. So, you know, I applaud her for, you know, acknowledging it, you know, coming out front of it and letting the world know that, you know, at the end of the day, she's human as well. You know, I know a lot of people look at athletes as superheroes, but at the same time, we're just good at what we do. We still have to go through a day-to-day life. We still have to deal with trials and tribulations. You know what I mean? So, you know, I commend Simone for, you know, coming out front and not willing to jeopardize, you know, winning a medal or losing a medal to either put her in further, you know, mental health issues. So, you know, commend her for, you know, obviously seeing what the issue was and getting in front of it, and also letting the world know that mental health is a real deal.
Pat, where do you think we are when it comes to sports and accepting sports society when it comes in terms of accepting and embracing mental health? Because, you know, there are a lot of people that's saying that, you know, Simone should fight through it. She should be able to, you know, handle and control this situation and still go out and compete for a country. But then we're seeing a lot of people that are embracing the honesty she's been able to display and encouraging her to go get the help that she needs. Where do you think we are in society when it comes to embracing and supporting these type issues that we may hear from mega superstars in their professional sports?
I definitely embrace her as well. It's almost like this. Put it this way, Mac. So say for instance, you was a regular Joe Blow, right? And you got a home. Obviously we have bills and you're not able to meet those bills. That's mental health to the normal society.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that dwells and weigh on you. Because now you're trying to figure out how the heck I'm going to make this happen, and you can't make it happen. And next thing you know, now you're out of a home. Now you can't supply some of the needs that you need. It's the same thing.
It's pressure.
Yes, it's pressure, because now if you have kids, that's more pressure. You know what I mean? if you have, how disappointing would it be to come to your kids and be like, we just got evicted, or we can't make this bill happen this week, or because your kids are looking up to you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, as a parent, you're like a superhero to your kids. And as athletes, we're superheroes to the world. So at the end of the day, we are all human beings. So who are you to say, fight through it, Simone? You have no idea what she's going through.
Exactly. Sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep around mine. Well, I can tell you this much. We applaud Simone for being honest and putting herself first. That's the most important thing that we have to emphasize. She decided to put her well-being first over the country, over a medal, over winning, competition. So we have to applaud her, because so many times athletes, they put everything else before themselves. Right. Especially when it comes to mental health. So we applaud her, and we hope nothing but the best for her going forward. Now, big part of our show. Fans love it. You love it. We all love it, especially right now, because the NFL training camp is here. Training camp 2021 is here. And here's where we get the ultimate check-in in our SKOL Check-In. SKOL Check-In time with our very own Pat P. They're in training camp. The Vikings just finished their first week, not full week, but the first week of training camp, to say the least. Some important things have happened. The guys are getting out on the grass, doing a pretty good job. People are getting better. Players are getting better. Coaches are getting better. First few takeaways, Pat P, when you look at being on the grass with your new team out in Minnesota.
Man, it's fun, man. It just feels like I said earlier before, when we was in spring and going through mini camps, it just feels like a fresh breath of air. A lot of the guys are willing to put that work in each and every day to help us reach that ultimate goal. You know what I mean? So, we had a Saturday night practice last night, which was phenomenal. A lot of fans came out and showed up, had the fireworks at the end of the deal. It was just a great atmosphere. You know what I mean? So I feel like, God put me in the perfect position, at the right time. Because one, I always wanted to wear 7, and I got an opportunity to wear 7. I wouldn't have been able to do it if I was at the other team, because, I would have to pay so much money because I'm one and all that stuff. And I'm back in that purple, man. I just feel like I'm home. It just feels good to be here with these guys, strapping up lacing up the cleats with these guys and going to work with these guys each and every day.
Yeah. And one of the bright spots, young bright spots on the defensive side has been Cam Dantzler. Talk about the wisdom you're sharing with him and what you've seen from Cam so far in training camp.
Cam is, he's finally getting back into the groove. You know what I mean? He missed pretty much all OTAs, mini camp. I can't tell you what the injury was, but, wasn't really able to be out there with us throughout OTAs and mini camp. But seeing him finally get his legs back up under him, seeing him compete, and it's a beautiful thing. Now it's just all about just showing him the ropes on how to understand what's coming to him before it happens. You know what I mean? Stop. As corners, as young corners too, we think we have to cover everything. You don't. Read the formation, read the receiver splits, and it's going to talk to you. You just have to open your eyes and listen with your eyes. As weird as that may sound, you have to listen to your eyes. You know what I mean? Sometimes your eyes can get you in trouble, but that's obviously within routes and stuff like that. But if you understand the grand scheme of things or what teams are trying to do to you and what position you need to be in to help the defense succeed, you're going to be better off, and you're going to be able to help us in the long run. So, for the most part, just talking with him, just making sure he understands splits, understand, field position. That's really huge. Understand down and distance. You know what I mean? Understanding when you're in the slot, if we're playing a certain coverage and it forces you to be inside, understand where your help is. It's just things like that I'm able to share with him, and he's definitely taking it and running with it for sure.
Well, another bright spot on the offensive end is another second-year player in Justin Jefferson. And I know you've been raving about his ability throughout mini camps and OTAs, but you guys have been having some nice battles, back and forth battles. Tell us a bit about what you're learning from Justin and how much you appreciate who he is as a football player and the level of growth he has been able to showcase in this short amount of time in his career.
Man, nothing has changed since I talked about him when we first started talking about him. You know what I mean? It's a kid that gets it. You know, he comes in and work every day. He's a professional about his business. He's a pro about his business. He's just a guy that gets it, man. He's just going to be a good one for a very, very long time. And I'm excited to finally be reunited with him because, like I said, the last time I saw Justin, like, really spending time with him when he was about 12 years old, and to see what he has become is remarkable.
Yeah, no doubt. And talking about the wide receiver position, unfortunately, you had a huge injury, a season-ending injury to B.C. Johnson, reportedly tore his ACL last Friday during Friday's practice. Any wide receivers you've noticed that potentially could step up and play, have a role in this offense, knowing that Johnson will be out for the entire season?
Obviously, we got D. Westbrook that we got from Jacksonville, who's looking really good. He's getting back into the thick of things. He really haven't been out there yet because he was dealing with some injuries, before we signed him. So, he's rehabbing and getting his legs back up under him. I think that's a great veteran signing for us. My man Amir, who's a young receiver. Who's been doing, we call him Maserati. He's a fast thing, man.
He can go.
No doubt about it. He can take the top off defenses for sure. And for the most part, the group is very solid. The group is very solid. Obviously, Adam and Justin are the main culprit of the receiver core. But we got a lot of depth everywhere. You know what I mean? So it's exciting to see these young guys finally, earn their stripes and have an opportunity because that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? Yeah. Obviously, Johnson goes down. That's a big, big bang to the team. But at the same time, now here's your opportunity, young fella. What you going to do with it?
No question. And one player I know who's been making some noise, I talked about leading up to training camp, Irv Smith. I think Irv Smith's going to have a huge, big year, fantasy year as well. And I'm hearing he's been doing some real good things. You talked about, the night practice this past Saturday, was a big event. A lot of fans were there. Your first time to get a chance to see the Viking SKOL Nation there supporting you guys. But you did have some issues, not on the field related, COVID related. How concerning is it to see what happened this past Saturday practice when you lose 3 quarterbacks and you had to go out there with Jake Browning, who took every rep, is from what I heard. How alarming and concerning is that? Multiple players at one position, he had to sit out.
First of all, Jake came to play.
Played pretty good.
No doubt about it. I mean, Jake was throwing dimes all over the place. He stepped into the plate. And when his number was called, he answered. He answered the bell, and that's what it's all about. By having great depth, you know what I mean. Obviously, we don't want to have anybody go down with COVID. It's better to have it now. Hopefully, it doesn't happen again throughout the season. But at the same time, Mac, like I always said, man, we need all hands on deck.
You got to.
And I know it's personal preference, but if you're trying to win a championship, I want to put myself in the best position possible. Period. Because at the end of the day, we got something going here, man. And at the end of the day, we can't. I don't want to be, obviously you want to build depth, but you have a greater chance by winning with your starters on the field.
Hands down. And Pat, we've been saying this all summer long. It's not always the best team to win a championship. It's the healthiest team. No
doubt about it. And I feel like if we're healthy, we're going to compete each and every Sunday, So, you know what I mean? So, obviously, like I said, it's every player's personal preference if they want to get the vaccine or not. But, like me, I feel like I'm too important to this team not to get vaccinated and not miss an important game. And now we possibly lose that game. And that could be the game that we needed to get into the playoffs.
No question. Or imagine if you have to forfeit a game in the playoffs.
That's even worse.
Let's think about that. People are talking about regular season activity. What about teams that get into the postseason? And there are a lot of guys that are not, like you said, it's a personal, preference. But what happens if, you have to forfeit a playoff game? I think about that.
I think what the biggest problem is, being around the guys. I think the NFLPA is not doing a great job of educating us.
Yep.
It's a bunch of unknown, you know what I mean? And I think that's the biggest problem right now.
Sure. You remember, Pat, I said last week, the NFLPA has been silent.
Yeah.
When it came to all the new protocols. I haven't heard the NFLPA say anything to back some of the players. And I can tell you, Coach Zimmer had a statement. He said he was frustrated with not just my football players who won't get vaccinated. I'm frustrated with everyone. More from Zimmer, he said, it's why people should get vaccinated. Something like this happens a day before the game that has a chance to get you into the playoffs or something like that. This Delta variant is rough. You can see the cases going up every single day now. That's why for the sake of everybody's health, I think it's important. But some people don't understand it. And like you said, they don't get it. And so it's about being educated, understanding what's going on, because this could be concerning during the regular season, and it definitely could be concerning during the playoffs. Around the league, well, that man they call a bad man, the people's champ, State Farm champ, he's back. Aaron Rodgers reported to camp last week. The reaction, that's a division of folk. And Pat, this is your first time in that division, but they don't like you guys. You guys don't like them. What were your initial reaction hearing Aaron Rodgers reported back to the Packers?
Honestly, I didn't have any reaction at all. Obviously you want to play every team at their best. You know what I mean? So I'm happy Aaron's back in football. It probably would have been weird not seeing him, under the center in Green Bay, but, I'm happy that they was able to resolve some of those issues. But to my point, what we talked about 2 weeks ago, just be real. Let's not beat around the bush. Like
you said it.
If you told this man something, be a man and stand by your word. And that was his whole frustration. You know what I mean? Aaron, he's a franchise quarterback.
One of the best to ever do it.
Yeah, 3-time league MVP. Been to the NFC Championship, the last 2 seasons? I can remember for sure.
I think it's the last 2 seasons.
Last 2 seasons?
Yep.
Like, why is he not involved? And if you telling him this, then go back on your word and don't honor your word. How you gonna think that makes him feel?
Man, you talked about that last week, in great regard, and some fans may take it the wrong way. And like I said, it's nothing to do with the fan base.
Right.
It's not about the fan base. You didn't have an issue. Yes, you love the fans. There's nothing to do with the fans. It's about management. It's about certain individuals that handle the day-to-day operations. And Aaron had an in-depth press conference where he just put everything out there on wax. Right. He put it all out on wax, like literally the issue. It wasn't about the fans. It wasn't about the players. It was about the miscommunication and not standing up to what they said they would do. Make it clear he hasn't been involved in free agency, draft, coaching decisions, anything like that. And one thing that I appreciate, when we had Kirk Cousins on the show, Kirk told us that the staff made it known to him that they would take a quarterback at some point in time.
That's up front.
That's all you can ask for. You're our franchise quarterback. We respect you. This is what we might do.
Right.
It's not just about that with Aaron Rodgers. It was other things, but just the communication, the lack thereof, led him to want to be elsewhere. They basically forced him out. They did a sloppy job in handling the best player have at that franchise. Yes, sir.
What was the difference of me saying what I said and Aaron saying what he said?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
But you got fans talking about, I'm bashing the organization. I'm doing this. How? No. I'm speaking the truth of what happened throughout the process, and I felt disrespected, just as Aaron Rodgers felt disrespected.
Yeah. And that's the thing that fans have to get. They have to understand and be able to distinguish the two. It's not about you players have an issue with. It's the business side of things. It's no different for you individuals that are listening to us or watching us on YouTube. When you have an issue with your employer, you still like your coworkers. Right. You still like the people that support the brand. You don't have an issue with the coworkers. You don't have an issue with the people that support the brand that you're working under. You have an issue with the powers that be. That's two different situations. Aaron Rodgers never said, I don't like the Packer fans. Right. You never said, oh, I know. You didn't want to leave because they treated you like royalty. They treated you like family. They're the community. You even said that.
Exactly. I love the community. I love everything
You had your foundation out there and everything like that.
Right. Look, everything about it is, at the end of the day, why would I have an issue with a fan who I feel that's supporting me?
That's
like,
the
I
thing.
have no issue.
That's the thing. That's what, and some fans get it and some fans don't.
Right.
Some fans feel like, you were being salty. No, you were just being real. You was expressing how you feel.
Exactly. Oh, I'm whining or this, that. How am I whining? I'm speaking facts.
Facts. Aaron Rodgers spoke facts.
Facts.
Right?
That's it.
Exactly. He spoke facts. When you see a lot of disgruntled players that are trying to make things happen in their career, it's not because they're whining. They're fed up because they've been fed so much that hasn't happened. Oh, we're going to do this. We're going to let you do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this. And then when it comes time to stand up, they don't stand up. So no question.
What they do, they turn their shoulder.
They turn their shoulder. Exactly. Exactly. And I can tell you this much, when it comes to the betting side of things, now with Aaron Rodgers back in the fold with Green Bay, the odds to win the NFC North, the Packers, they're minus 150. The Vikings are plus 250. Bears plus 475. And the Lions are plus 2,500. And like you said, Pat P, y'all got a real good team right now. It's going to be a real sticky division. I think it's safe to say it's a 2-team division right now. Granted, what we know when you look at the rosters, anything can happen, but we have to wait and see. The Vikings will play the Packers in week 11 and week 17. And I think one of those games, they're prime time, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's prime time. And other news around the league, Madden, video game I used to dominate people in. I used to dominate Pat P in it as well. They released their top 10 rankings per position. The cornerback list came out. The top ranking cornerback was Jalen Ramsey. He had a 99, Gilmore 97, Jair Alexander 95, Trey White 93. Do you pay attention to the cornerback, to the rankings from Madden anymore? I know once upon a time you used to be heavily involved, but do you pay attention to the cornerback rankings when it comes to the Madden ratings with players?
Honestly, Matt, I can give 2 sugar honey iced tea.
2, not 1, 2.
2. Because at the end of the day, it's all Fugazi. And those guys who are rated high, rightfully so, they deserve that.
Mm-hmm.
I got all pro in 2012, led second in league in picks, and 13. I was 85. My 2015 year, 2, I was rated in the league, 2 a top cornerback in the league. It was only 2 players that could make all pro. And I was still rated as a 92.
Yeah. So man just ain't really been rocking with you.
No, not at all. So I don't play the video game anyway. Mm-hmm. I like that the game is still going. I love that I'm getting my royalties from it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I can care less.
No question. Notable Vikings, Dalvin Cook, he was 95. Michael Pierce, 91. Harrison Smith, 90. So you had quite. Eric Kendricks was 90 as well. So it is what it is. But I can tell you this much. There are a lot of players that are fired up because their ratings are not what they would like it to be, and they make it be known.
I won't even worry about that crap, man. It's a video game. We play it in real life.
No question. That's all that matters. What you do in real life.
Put it on wax, man.
No question.
Like I said, I don't play the game. You know why? Because I play it in real life. I play that in real life.
No question. No question. No question.